In this lecture, we are going to study about installing source code editor and compiler. So in the previous lecture, we saw how we can write a simple C++ program. Now it is time for us to install the source code editor and compiler. That is the tools that we require for actually writing the program and compiling and running them in our system, so that you can practice along when you follow this course. Okay, so we will see how the installation can be done and to verify if everything has been done correctly. Alright, so let's get started. So let's discuss about the tools that are required in order to completely write, compile and run a program. So the tools required for writing, compiling and running C++ programs. First of all, we need a source code editor. Now what is the use of this? This is for writing the program in an efficient way. So for source code editor, you can use any simple thing like Notepad or Notepad++, but I would recommend using Visual Studio Code. So Visual Studio Code is a source code editor which is really powerful, and also it supports the C++ extension, so it will help us in writing our code in a proper way. So we are going to use the Visual Studio Code for this. So again, you can get the complete Visual Studio IDE if you want. IDE means the Integrated Development Environment, which can be used for writing and also for compiling, running and debugging your programs. But that is going to be a huge size of download and installation that you have to do. So I'm not recommending that as of now because we want to keep it simple. So we are going to use Visual Studio Code as our source code editor. I will explain how it can be downloaded and installed. Okay, now next we need a compiler. So compiler is used for compiling and running the program. So as I said, this Visual Studio Code that we are going to use is not a compiler, but it is just a source code editor where you can just write the code. Now for compiling and running, you need an actual compiler. And for that also, we are going to use a simple one, which is known as the Minimalist GNU for Windows, which is this MinGW compiler. So again, I will show you how to download and install this. And using these two, we will see how we can write our programs in this course. Okay, so let us start with the first one, that is Visual Studio Code. So here we will discuss the steps to install Visual Studio Code. So remember, Visual Studio Code is the source code editor that we are going to use. So first of all, we have to download and then we have to install it. So for downloading, you can visit the official website of Visual Studio Code, whose link is given here. I will give this link in the description as well so that you can refer it and use it from there. Now, after visiting the official website, you have to download the setup file that is specific to your operating system. So depending on the operating system that you are using, you can download the specific setup file for the Visual Studio Code. So here I am using a Windows system, and the installations and everything that I am going to show is actually based on Windows. Then after downloading the setup file, we have to run the downloaded setup file to begin the installation, and that will just install it on your system. So those are the simple steps that you have to follow for downloading and installing the Visual Studio Code. So if you go to this link that is given here, it will take you to the official website of Visual Studio Code, which is this one. And here you see download for Windows option is there. So you can click on this and it will take you to the next page, which is this one. And here you see the Windows setup file can be downloaded from here. So you can specify what kind of installer do you need depending upon your operating system, and you can just download it from here. Okay, so this is how you can download the Visual Studio Code. Okay, so after downloading the setup file, you just need to double click and run it, and it will begin the installation. So it is a very simple installation. There is nothing complicated in that. Just double click and install it and it will get installed. Okay, so after downloading and installing this Visual Studio Code, there is one more thing that we have to install within Visual Studio Code. That is the C++ extension in order to support the C++ programming language in Visual Studio Code. So we'll see how to do that now. So as I said, we have to install the C++ extension in Visual Studio Code. So in order to do that, we have to first open Visual Studio Code, which we have just installed. Then select the extension view icon on the activity bar, or use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+Shift+X. So this will open the extension view for you. And then there you have to just search for C++ in the search bar, and something like this will appear. And you just have to click on this install, and it will install the C++ extension for you. So let's just go to Visual Studio Code and let me show you how to do this. So here I come to my desktop and let me click on the start and search for Visual Studio Code. So I have this Visual Studio Code installed. Now when I open it, we see that this is the kind of screen that we get. We get a welcome screen, and on the left side we see that there is this Explorer tab, and here this is the extension view that we have. So click on this extension, or you can also open it by typing Ctrl+Shift+X. Now when you open this, you have to just search for C++ over here and you will get some results, and this first one that you get here, this is the one that you have to click and you will get an install button over here. So since I have already installed it, it is written uninstall here. So when you are doing it for the first time, you will get the install option. Just click on it and it will get installed. So that is how you can install this C++ extension in Visual Studio Code. So when you use this C++ extension, whenever you are typing the code, the Visual Studio Code editor itself will help you in understanding if there are some errors in the code, or it will also help in fixing some minor issues that can be there in the code. So it will essentially help us in proper coding. So that is why we are installing this C++ extension. Okay, so that is how you can do it. Alright, so we have completed the Visual Studio Code part. Now we will see how to install the compiler. So till now we have the source editor ready in which we can actually type our code, but we need to compile and run our code after typing it. So for that we need a compiler. So we will see how to install the compiler now. So here we will see the steps to install the MinGW compiler, which is a minimalist GNU for Windows. Okay, so again, the first step is to download and then to install it. So for downloading, you have to visit the link which is given below here to download the setup file for Windows. So you can go to this link which I will provide in the description and you can download the setup file, and this is specifically for Windows. Now download the setup file and then run the downloaded setup file to begin the installation. So when you go to that link which I have mentioned, this is the page that will open, and then here you see you have the download button, and when you click this, it will get downloaded to your system. So once it is downloaded, you can just double click the setup file and that will begin the installation. Now if you have any doubts regarding the installation and if you face any problem, you can visit this link which I will again provide in the description for the full installation guidelines. So any problem you face, you can just follow these guidelines that are given here and that will help you in installing the MinGW compiler correctly. Okay. Now after installing this MinGW compiler, there is another very important thing that you need to do, and that is setting the path for the MinGW compiler. So what we mean by this is that when this compiler gets installed in your system and when you try to compile any program from, let's say, the command prompt in Windows, it does not know where this MinGW compiler is installed. So it will not be able to compile the program unless you explicitly go to that specific location where the compiler is located, and then you have to execute the compiler from there. So in order to avoid that, we will add the MinGW compiler to the path variables, and by doing that, whenever you try to run any program from command prompt, it will know where the compiler is present. So that is another very important thing that we need to do, and let's see how to do that. So we will see how to add the MinGW compiler to your path in Windows. First of all, you have to open the Windows settings and then search for Edit Environment Variables for your account. So search for this and it will open up a page for you. Now choose the path variable from there and select Edit button. Now when you select Edit, you will get a new button there, and click on New and add the MinGW destination folder path with MinGW64/bin appended to the system path. Now I will show you how to do this. So in order to do this, you have to know where the MinGW compiler has been installed in your system, and you have to navigate to this bin folder, and then this complete path has to be copied and it has to be pasted in our path variable. So this will differ from system to system, so I will show you how to do it. So here I come to my desktop and then I'm going to find out the path where the MinGW compiler has been installed. So usually it will be in the C drive. So let us open the C drive and then it will be in the program files. So this will depend upon your system, but usually it is going to be present here. So here we see this folder MinGW-W64. So this is the folder where it got installed. So open the folder and here you see a file like this. Open this file again, and again you see inside there is a file called MinGW64. So open this file and here you see the bin folder is there. So open the bin folder as well. So you have to come till this bin folder and see this is going to be the path that we need. So click on this bar here once and you see the path gets highlighted. Now you just have to copy this. So copy this and keep it. Now we have to go to the Windows settings and we have to add this path to our path variables. So in order to do that, let me close this and we will come to Start again and we will search for Windows settings. So here is the Windows settings. So open Windows settings. Now here in Find the Settings, we have to type Edit Environment Variables. So as I started typing itself, you see it came up as the drop down. So just select this Edit Environment Variables for your account. So click on this, and here we see this environment variables have opened, and here we see there is something called path under the variables list. So click on this path and click on edit. Now when you click on edit, you get this edit environment variable page, and here we see there is a new button. So click on this new button, and here you have to paste the path that we had copied. So just paste it, and then you just have to click on OK. So I have already added it in my system, so I'm not going to do it. So here you just have to paste it and click on OK, and it will be done. So that's all for adding the correct environment variables to your path. Okay, so once we pasted it there, select OK to save the updated path, and that will get saved. Okay, so with that we come to the end of the installation of Visual Studio Code, which is a source editor, and we have also installed the C++ extension, and we have also seen how to install the MinGW compiler. Now next step is to verify that everything has been installed correctly. So let's see what we have to do for that. Now in order to verify the installations, first of all, open a new command prompt in Windows or a new terminal in Visual Studio Code. So I will show you how to do this in both. You can either open a new command prompt in Windows, or you can open a new terminal in Visual Studio Code, and then you have to type G++ and space, then 2 hyphens and version. Now if you type this, the expected output that you should get is something like this. It will show you the version of G++ that is installed. Now what is G++? So when you install the MinGW, it installs the G++ compiler to your Windows system. So G++ is the actual compiler that is used for compiling the C++ programs. So that is what we are trying to verify here. So we just have to do these steps, and we'll be able to find out if it has been installed successfully. And also it will verify that the path has been updated successfully. So if installation is not successful, or if the path variable has not been set properly, then you will not get this expected output. So let's see how to do this. So here I come to my desktop again, and then I come to start, and then I type CMD in order to open command prompt. So here we have the command prompt window opened. So we have to type that thing that we just saw. What is that? G++ space hyphen VERSION version. Now if you press enter, you see that expected output that I showed in the slide has come. So we see the version is shown here, and it shows that it has been successfully installed and everything is proper. So even if you don't set the path variable properly, you will not get this expected output. So carefully install everything and make sure you get this expected output, which verifies that the installation has been successful. Okay, now we will see how to check it in Visual Studio Code. So let me close this and open Visual Studio Code. So here I will open Visual Studio Code, and in Visual Studio Code we have something known as the terminal over here. So by default there will be a terminal open here, or if there is no terminal, you can go to terminal and click on new terminal. So that will open a terminal over here. So here we will type the same command that we typed in command prompt. So we type G++ space hyphen version, and we press enter, and we see we get the same output again, which shows the version of G++ that has been installed, which verifies that all our installation and the setting of path variable has been done correctly. So this is how you can verify it. Okay, so if you don't see the expected output as above, check your installation and make sure your path entry was set correctly. So if you don't get the expected output like we saw, then check again if your installation was proper, and very importantly, check if the path entry was set correctly or not. Alright, so with that we come to the end of the installation and the verification part. So we have seen how to install Visual Studio Code, how to install the C++ extension, and we have also seen how to install the compiler. Okay, so with that, I hope you understood how we can download and install the tools that we need for running our C++ programs, and also I hope you have understood how to set them up correctly. So I hope this lecture is clear to you. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.